Welcome back to Siesta with Suki, and I am joined today by Cesar, and we are going for a ride. So that's all I'm going to say to you. We are going to talk about things that you just probably had no idea we were going to talk about. If you are a Star Trek fan, I'm a Star Trek fan. If you're just a thinker, so before we talk, I want to preface this, right? Because a lot of times we're told to think about things in a certain way, right? There was one point the world was round, then it was flat, then it was round, and then it changes shapes, and what happens is we are all told there's a thing. If you're my age, you've had time to lose a planet. I'm not sure if we got the planet back or not, so I don't even remember. But you grew up and you were told we had 9 planets, and then somewhere along the lines we had 8 planets. And what you do understand is that science is really kind of understanding, and really it's the current understanding of the day. And in a very real way, a lot of the science that we pay attention to is kind of the groupthink, right? It's the group has said that this is what is the belief, and so we follow that on the belief. There was a time where that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like if everybody agrees this, red raspberry is poisonous because, people have taken it and they've died. As a group think, this actually makes some sense because people have died, we've watched animals die, this group think makes sense. There isn't any motive one way or another. It was information. We have come upon an age where we're in the self-described information age, but it's really interesting because a lot of the information is information that we are kind of told must be what we believe. Now, what's really gotten interesting / dangerous in my mind is it's okay for the majority of people to believe anything, right? None of that is a problem in my mind. Where things get challenging is if you have a different belief or different information, or you present some different information, you've gone from being an outlier to sometimes ridiculed. I've seen families break up because of differing beliefs. Like in my mind, we have got to get back to the place where it's okay if I don't believe what you believe. That's okay. But you know what? I still want to listen, and I'm still going to hear it. And maybe I don't believe it now. Something may happen to me later on where I remember this thing that you told me, and it's kind of like an aha for me. And then I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I thought you were a nutcase then, but now, as time has passed, I'm seeing how this applies. Information that I get from someone, maybe 90% of it, I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. But even if I just get that 10%, that's okay. So before we talk, I just want to invite you to go with me for a moment on a journey of what used to be called scientific inquiry. The space where we used to think, contemplate, theorize. Sometimes those theories were touted as wild theories, but it was okay. We knew it was okay to theorize and know that perhaps we don't actually know everything. And a lot of what we don't know, we will actually never be able to see. We try to prove, but it is unseen, and that's okay. So now you guys have laid the proper foundation. We are all smart folks here. Cesar, talk to me. I'm going to let you just take it away because I know we got a lot going here, and we're just going to go on the roller coaster. Let's just go down the roller coaster.
Okay, but first let's start with the real.
The real part. Yes.
Yeah, one mezcal.
Top of the
Cheers.
roller coaster.
Cheers.
Salud.
Well, I would just like to add a little bit of what you said, that it's also important to consider that science is supposed to be evolving, all the time.
That's right.
We need to keep learning, and we need to stay curious. That's kind of how I see it. But yeah, now that we know how kind of I got to Oaxaca, when I came here, or when I started meeting people from Oaxaca, I went to different places to kind of hear the story about how the artisans or the craft were working. My project at the beginning was to create a database of artisans and put the information there. Later with the time, I learned that I could also bring people directly to their places, to their workshops, and have some experience. with this, I was able to make some connections with the artisans and learn a little bit more about history and some archaeological sites, some people who were involved in the excavation of Monte Alban, and some little legends that you hear from the locals. So for me, it was also relevant to preserve that type of information or knowledge, and I decided to investigate more or make more questions about it. And little by little, I was discovering some things, how the church was involved in hiding a lot of information that it came from some archaeological sites. They were trying to prevent us to learn about some weird things that they were inside of some of the temples.
Okay.
So with those things in mind, I was like asking more questions and trying to be more curious about things that happened here before, let's say. A good example, it's like the legend or urban legend about the tunnels that are connecting the temples in the city of Oaxaca.
Yes. Talk to us about this.
So some of those things I just heard from some neighbors, and they told me that at some point people were doing some research on the temples, but when they discovered bodies of nuns and babies, the church decided to close the entry to the temples, and then nobody could make questions. So those are the things that you kind of start questioning or like realizing that maybe there's something darker inside. Another thing that I heard is that people here were forced to go to the church on the weekend to tell your sins to the priest. And then the priest was using sometimes that information to manipulate people. So that's when you kind of lay the image and how the church was involved in a lot of things that they were not, let's say, connected to corruption. And in a way,
but wait, can I tell you? Okay, so we're not anti-church here. I know,
No.
I know that I'm a self-described heathen. I know. I haven't been in forever. And don't forget, church is always people. So these are people who were doing these things under the moniker of a church. So we are not anti-church. Don't want anybody coming for us. It is more of a, these are things that people were going on. Because when you tell me about nuns and babies, I mean, I know urban legend, but clearly that suggests that they wanted to get rid of the babies and the fact that the nuns,
the sins of
the sins of the, yes.
So that's the thing, like, those things happen. We need to consider that also have like a side effect in the society now. And another thing that I learned, for example, during this project, I met a producer of mezcal, that's the one that we're just drinking. And this guy is someone that is doing this in a pre-Hispanic method of production. He's like 4 generations working with this craft, let's say. But he also told me that in the 50s, 60s, there was like a big campaign to convince / force the people to change the method into the copper pot because it was more efficient, it was quicker. But that is also something that was affecting the pre-Hispanic tradition. Because what I learned from this friend, it is precisely the idea that in the past people consume mezcal in ceremonies where you can have a way to relax your physical muscles, but your awareness is still active. And by doing this, you can have some sort of lucid dreams. And the idea is that through these lucid dreams, you were in the energy realm, and then you receive answers or messages from your gods. And that is something that when you use copper, instead of having instead of having lucid dreams, you have blackouts. And then you kind of lose the connection with this energy realm. And then when you consider that in all of the festivities from the church, there is a lot of mezcal involved, there is also a way that you can manipulate the society in a not so honest way. Let's put it like that.
Okay. So anyway, I can attest to the relaxed and the lucid. Every night it's me, mezcal, and my reggaeton. Yes, and so I could attest to the lucidness of the mezcal. So I know that's not what we're here to talk about, but we're just going to digress for 30 seconds on the mezcal.
Yeah.
So at this point, I've gotten to the point where I can taste the difference. I can taste whether or not it's actually artisanal, all of that. But how do you know if someone is using the pre-Hispanic? If it's pre-Hispanic method versus the copper pot method. And I just a short commentary for you guys, because you guys watched my last episode. Understand that what he's talking about in the 40s and 50s was the technology of the day. So we talked about technologies not necessarily being apps and what have you. So this is a real live example of technology on a society, and the effect of technology. It might be more efficient, I suppose, but the effect actually on the human body ultimately.
Yes.
Because there is a difference between a good mezcal like we're drinking now, where we will not pass out on camera, and another one where, yes, you have blackouts, and that's obviously not going to be good for your body. So how do you know?
Part of the difference is because of the intensity of the alcohol perception. With clay pots, the clay allows the alcohol to breathe better.
Okay.
So during the distillation process, you don't concentrate a strong perception of alcohol. So that is something that is, let's say, mild on the pre-Hispanic method of production.
Okay.
So therefore, you can actually taste better the essence of the agave. I never knew anything about this when I was in the city, but here,
Yes.
this is what I learned, like the different methods and how important is the fire that they put, how quick it is coming. It's also related to the intensity of the alcohol and stuff like that. When you see it in a bigger scale, or like a social engineering, it kind of makes sense why it was used to kind of promote alcoholism in Oaxaca, because a lot of people drink it. I mean, it's nothing
Yes.
against it, but it's just the idea that there was a meaning behind that it was more ceremonial in the past.
Okay, as opposed to now we breathe and we basically drink
Yeah,
mezcal.
everywhere there's a good reason for mezcal.
Yes.
Nothing against that.
No.
But we just need to drink more water. That's the good
Yes,
difference.
we drink more water with it. Yes, exactly. Okay, so we are. So you've started talking to the people,
Yeah.
and you start realizing that there are deeper connections, energetic connections. So dígame.
So yeah, with that in mind, that's when I started doing some research by my own. At the same time that I was learning from the indigenous about the lucid dreams from mezcal and other things that are related to awareness, I was also reading some documents from the CIA, some documents who were declassified, and
I remember because we were taking. I can't remember where we were going at the time, but
Yeah.
yes, I remember when they were declassifying because we were driving. Yep.
exactly. And the thing, I was reading those documents, and they basically explain how we live in a holographic universe. We have been forced in a way, and this is also just for the audience. This is my opinion. This is how I see things, and it doesn't mean that it's just the only way to see it. No, but for what I learn or I understand, this is a way that we can prove that we live in a holographic universe. That
Tell me what holographic universe means in real terms.
the idea is that everything that we see, it is actually vibrating, a pulse of energy that is vibrating in a way, in a simple way. Just kind of, we just see it as matter because that's what our awareness is kind of forcing things to believe. But there are some research and some people who talk about remote viewing and how we can focus our awareness to use this as a technology. And there is some legends, let's see if you want to call them legends.
Okay, wait, I want you to go back and say that to me again. How you can focus your
Awareness.
awareness to almost act as a technology.
Yes.
Okay.
The idea is that, for example, when we are in the regular world, or when we are acting like humans,
Yes.
our energy, we have an energy field, and
Hopefully good humans.
yeah.
Okay.
The idea is that our field is just spreading around our body.
Okay.
But when you meditate, you can find a way to concentrate all of the energy into a laser. It looks kind of like a laser, but the idea is that this is what is allowing the connection between your pineal gland and the atmosphere. And that's when you can get into this energy realm that is letting us be connected with all the universe. And that's when you kind of realize that we are more than just humans. And something that is connected to the culture here in Oaxaca is this version of the tonas, for example. The tonas, it's something that it's a sign as your spirit animal, as far as I understand, that there was a ceremony where when you as a baby spend your first night at home, your father had to put a circle of ashes outside of the house. And then the next morning, he was checking which animal left a footprint. That was the one that it was assigned to you as your animal protector.
Interesting.
This is something that it was later mixed by Disney to promote the alebrijes on the Coco movie. Just marketing, but they have some connection with it.
Okay.
But the thing is, in the dreamland is the energy realm. When we go to bed, we actually have a connection with another world, and the idea is that on this circle of ashes could be a manifestation of the animal or a footprint. So that's how they assign your spirit animal in the past. But the idea is that what I'm trying to achieve with all of this is kind of connect the past and the present with the future,
Okay.
all the things that are connected in regards of the energy and the perception of our awareness, and how important it is our attention, where we put our eyes, we kind of create our story, you know? So the idea is that this is something that we can use as a technology when we understand that, for example, when you pray, you basically focus your awareness. And some religions have mentioned that your body can be possessed by demons and stuff like that. But that is also a tool that it was more to kind of scare the people or make them feel afraid. But I have some documents and some guided meditations that are helping you to exercise this part of your brain. And little by little, the more you exercise, the quicker for you to get into that vibration of energy. And the idea is that there are some guys who actually did this to look for missing kids or like spy on Russian submarines. There's a documentary that is called Third Eye Spies. I always recommend that to people because I like to show them that there is information out there that is proving all of this technology, that it's beyond religion, because it is a way to go on the next step of human evolution. That's kind of how I see it.
Okay. Well, no, really. So first I want you to talk to us about, because I know this obsidian. So I got to tell you guys a quick story. So Cesar says to me, there is and I love Temescal ceremonies. That's like my thing. I do one every month. And he's like, there's this great person you should go to. And I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't think much of it. You know, I've done several Temescals. So I go, and I don't know where I am when I finally get there, but I finally figure it out. And I come across, they call her the Witch of Etla. And she's really nice. So I know witches name. She's a very nice person. I mean, they were really great people. They gave us food, this, that. And then we got busy. First of all, we built our temescal. Okay, we actually got the rocks ourselves, and we actually got with the pig. And I say we loosely because Evan's the one with the girth. So I was supervising. I had small rocks, and we wrote the things on the paper, and it was intense because typically I'll go to a ceremony and it's about 2 hours, 2.5, give or take. We're at the 6-hour mark, and she says to us, the spirits haven't left your body yet. And I was like, oh, I need these spirits to really leave, right? Because I have got a kid that I need to go pick up. And she was like, no, the ceremony does not end until you have been freed of the spirits. And so we were, it's a whole thing. I mean, you actually have to go and experience it. But so that was like on the spiritual level. She's very committed to making sure your spirit was clear. So then I understood why Cesar said he went once a year, because that's definitely a once a year thing. It's not an every month type of thing. But so she does the temescal, but then we stay within the Oaxacan spirit. So it's late and we can't get a cab. So she says, no problem, I'll take you home. And so they go try to start this car that clearly hadn't been started for months. So it's like, and I was like, I don't even know if this car is going to get to anywhere. So the car, we actually get the car started, but we all realize that at best we're going to get to a gas station. That's the only thing that's happening. And we might even have to push the car down the road. But everybody was like, we're going to do this together. And so we all hop in the car, not sure whether or not we're going to get anywhere. And we actually roll ourselves down to a gas station to get enough gas for her to get me home. And a commitment. I did go back the next day because she was very serious. She was like, you need to come back tomorrow. So we went back to finish the ceremony. It was like a whole thing, but I so appreciated her commitment to, I didn't see what spirit she was talking about, but she was like, I am not letting you out of here until we clear this energy. And so I say this to you, my friends, to say that sometimes other people can see what we don't. And when we talk about energy, and again, I have to do full disclosure with you guys because I have to be honest. I absolutely meditate. I listen to Dr. Joe. I absolutely visualize. I visualize my energy. So I am, as an audience, Cesar's audience, I'm probably I lean on the side of belief because I've probably watched The Matrix too many times. Probably, I freely admit. It spoke to me when it was like, you can use your mind to generate your life. That, I watch that movie often enough. And I think there's definitely a space for us opening our minds and creating the life that we want. So, full disclosure, I am a little bit of a captive audience. So, I say keep your mind open because my mind is actually already open, but let's open.
And in regards to that topic, precisely, there's one film that is called The Secret of the Dr. Jacobo Grinberg, El Secreto del Dr. Jacobo Grinberg.
We're going to have to put all these links for you. So I'm going to ask him
Yeah.
for all the links and we're going to stick it in the thing.
I have a webpage where all of the
Okay,
links
I will send you to his webpage.
So yeah, the idea is that this film, for example, is showing how a shaman, witch, by the way, shout out to Adriana de China.
She's so fantastic.
Cool.
We love her, yes.
But yeah, the idea is that this shaman was actually working for the equivalent of the White House in Mexico in the 70s. Her name was Pachita. And this guy, Jacobo Grinberg, was a quantum physics researcher in the 90s that he was trying to prove that the shamans were just fake and they were just scam artists. So that he proposed to spend 2 weeks with this lady to prove how fake everything was. He ended up working with her for 3 years and he wrote books about it and she helped him to understand how the mind can manipulate matter. In this, the movie that is relating all the thing that happened with this guy, they explain you that she mentioned that through a deep meditation, the energy of of a pre-Hispanic god came to her body and then used her body to heal people. And she was able to cut somebody with a knife and then just put their hands like this and heal the energy. This is also something that is related to all of these witch hunts and stuff like that, but it is actually working and people have done research about it. The crazy thing about this researcher is that he disappeared when he was about to prove that we are all connected in the energy field. He was doing some research with kids, but the idea is that whenever he was about to take a trip to India to have this test or make this test, he disappeared. And there are some rumors or like some people believe that he was working for the CIA and stuff like that. But this is all something that is really...
We've said CIA a couple times. We have nothing against you guys. I'm just saying, you know.
This is information.
Little disclaimer, yes, okay.
But yeah, I mean, I just met this by chance. I'm not a crazy person. I'm just a curious guy. Okay? Just FYI.
No representations here.
But those things that kind of helped me to learn more about it or experience more about it and kind of understand it without the filter of the conquerors thinking that everything that it came from indigenous was dumb, you know?
Yes.
So for me, it makes a lot of sense to understand this quantum field or the energy world. It just depends on how you label it. But the thing is, like, it exists, it is there, and we can use it, and we can have some knowledge downloading to our avatar to improve our experience as humans. And that's basically...
Because we are the avatars.
Exactly.
For anybody who's not keeping up.
Yeah, the idea is that we this entity, this human body is not everything that we are. When you meditate and you exercise remote viewing, something that I already tried, you can see things inside of your head or have lucid dreams. And there are some things that it is hard for the modern science to explain or justify. So there is a lot of information about it, but not everybody is hearing or talking about this. So that's why I'm trying to bring this into the attention of people who speak Spanish through a podcast, social media.
Tell us the name of the podcast and what have you.
My podcast and everything that I'm doing, it is called Reevolución, but it's spelled R33, V as in Victor, OLUCION. I have a webpage that is .com, a group of Telegram, and I have some links on TikTok.
Okay, and tell us in Spanish too, because sometimes some of this is subtitled and...
Well, no, it's Reevolución.
Okay.
It's just the same, but it's the idea is that's my main word, let's say, that I'm using to refer to everything that I'm doing.
Okay.
Because the concept, it is kind of like, it's beyond an evolution, but it shouldn't be a revolution because revolution most of the times are violent. And the idea is that this concept, it is evolving in a higher level of your awareness to have a peaceful revolution around the world. Mm-hmm. Because the more we explain this to others, the easier will be for them to understand that we shouldn't be afraid of money or like whatever's going to happen tomorrow or nuclear war or whatever. Like we are creating our own reality. It's just depending on what information we put inside of it.
Okay, so weirdly, I'm sitting here and I feel like I'm like at the Church of Cesar. So we, I don't know. We're gonna have like a whole group of people, and I'll be like,
Yes.
we're gonna have a Bible later on, and
well,
everything.
you can see that we do magic. You know that.
Yeah, I know you do. This is what I'm
saying.
saying. Yes. So I got to tell you guys, I have so many stories for you guys.
Yeah.
So Cesar comes to a birthday party we had this weekend, a birthday party for a beautiful, beautiful young lady, 28 years old. Yay! Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
And he shows us. And I guess I can't share that video. I have to think about how to share the video because we're gonna have to do some little blurring on a little part of it. But so he basically shows how by cutting the energy fields, it's easier to lift the person. Now here's the part that was really, really interesting. And you know what? I am gonna show you part of the video. We're just gonna clip it in together because I gotta do it in 1 minute anyway. The part that was really interesting is the people participating were not believers. They didn't even know what was supposed to happen. So when I show you this clip, so we're gonna do this clip. When I show you this clip, the most important thing for you to know is they did not have any preconceived notions at all about what was going to happen. So I will leave you with that. So I will just remember, I've got to show you the magic trick. But I see more magic things here, so I don't want to leave without talking about what we have on this table. So
well, yeah,
dig on me.
Going back to this, first during my project, I was able to meet different artisans and really cool families that helped me to learn more about the culture of Oaxaca. One was the family of the mezcal, which also something interesting.
I'm going to do Vanna White. This is totally an American thing. So here we are. I'm Vanna White for you.
The name is Newmana, which translates into dreamer, which is also related to the energy realm, the dreamland.
Yes.
But for example, I also met...
I'll let you know tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also met the family that is related to the Alebrijes. The first one who started carving wood figures in Oaxaca, the Jimenez family.
Sí.
I became good friends with them. And they also let me learn about their culture, their traditions. And I had the opportunity to get an alebrije of me.
This is you? Oh.
Yeah, they were carving that as a birthday present.
Goodness.
So I think that's something pretty epic because not everybody
This is
has that.
epic. I feel like I need one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, this is so fantastic. So can I digress with you for 30 seconds?
Sure.
Okay, so I know there are a few different alebrije people in Oaxaca,
Yeah.
right? And we're not even going to go the ones. So just for the audience's information, it's become a thing where they're legitimately knockoffs from China. No knock on somebody from China, by the way. We love you, Chinese people. All we're saying is that sometimes there's some products that are like knockoffs.
Yeah.
And so how do you know that you're getting an authentic... I can feel this, so and it's you, right? So
The quality.
yeah, so it doesn't get any more authentic than this. But and I went with you, so I have my people at home from you. But how do you know?
I think, it's depending on the details and how many details they have, the techniques that they use and stuff like that. The way that you can identify the different alebrijes is by the patterns that they use on the bodies. Now, because people, and this is also part of the thing that happened through the Coco movie or after the Coco movie, they related more to the Zapotecs because of the patterns that they use comes from the archaeological sites of Mentalidad and mezcla. So those symbols are in the body of the alebrijes, but it was just because they were trying to make them look as ancient and then kind of ignore or hide the origin from the Jimenez family. Okay, this is just kind of how I learned about it.
Okay.
But the idea is that, they were the ones who came first, and later other people kind of copy their techniques, let's say.
Okay, but we love this. Okay, we're just gonna put you right here with Cesar. Okay, Cesar's with us like a superhero.
But yeah.
And this is this.
Well,
No.
just something little with the alebrijes,
Yes,
just
sí,
to add one part there. They carve, the Jimenez family used to carve, or they still carve, an entity that is called Nahual, that this was a healer from the Zapotec culture. The funny thing about the Nahual, it was that it was always an animal with a face of a human.
Okay.
But the thing here, people told me that it was through a deep meditation or a ceremony where the healer, the shaman, was relocating his awareness by using the energy field, sending it to the body of the animal, and then the animal had some human expressions. And this is something that is considered a legend or just myths from the indigenous people. But when you consider the non-local awareness, the idea that we can send our mind to another part, then maybe they knew something in a way that they can actually manipulate animals. And that's why they preserve this entity of the Nahual. I think it's something relevant for the whole alebrije craft, because that entity it was something more meaningful for the Zapotec culture.
So it's almost a physical manifestation of the energy and mental.
Yeah, a way that someone can relocate their awareness.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And the other thing that I have here, it's another family that I met from Mitla that are doing textiles.
Mm-hmm.
And they show me their techniques, like 104 years old workshop that they have. And they were doing this for like since the beginning. They have a tree where they used to do the hips loom. I don't know how you call it. But yeah, the technique that you use, the telar de cintura. I don't know how to say it, but
We'll find out.
for a while they were doing this, and they have like these really cool rebozos that I think that are really meaningful in the symbology, because here you have the symbol of the corn, the symbol of the line of life that is always up and down because it's not a straight line,
Yes.
which I think is also really beautiful, and the cacao, that it was a currency or it was something meaningful or valuable for the people in that community. So those are the families that I met, and I have other people that I work with, but I think that the cosmovision or the way that they see the world, it is really, really unique. So that's why I like to collaborate with them and give them more exposure and try to share more about their traditions or their knowledge in general.
Okay. Okay, and then the last piece here.
Yes.
Talk to me about these glasses. Where can I get them? I feel like this is like my Matrix glasses. So talk to
Well,
us.
yeah, these are something pretty cool that I like to show people that I spend time with, because these are some glasses that are helping you to reduce the white light. It has a filter, and then it allows you to see the energy field that we are talking about.
Okay, so tell me what that means when you say spend time with. How much time are we talking?
I mean, like, no, like people that I know.
No. I mean, like, how much time do you spend wearing the glasses?
You can use them for 15 minutes, or it just depends. Your eyes need to adapt, and once they adapt, that's when you can start see some smoke that is coming from the body of the people. This is something that we all have, and we can use to develop our remote viewing skills, for example. And something that is also related to this type of theories, if you want to call it like that. In Teotitlán del Valle, I had the chance to meet some old people there, and whenever they greet each other, they don't shake their hands. They just put them close enough to feel the energy of the other,
Okay.
and that's how they know how they can greet the other person. So you know that there is a way that they used to perceive this in the past, and now we have technology that is helping us to see that it has a meaning. It has a purpose. Like, for example, the idea that you were involved in the making of your temazcal, it is putting your energy into the tools that are going to be used, you know? Like,
Yes.
all of those things that we need to pay more attention, because for many years, part of the conquer mindset make us believe that those were just waste of time, you know? Like, you shouldn't spend so much time making mezcal in a clay pot. You shouldn't, you know, like,
Yes.
bring your own stones for the temazcal, stuff like that, but it has a connection. And when we develop this understanding, I think we will be able to appreciate more what was here and what we can do in the future.
Yes, and it's almost like even food, you know, sometimes it's the same recipe, but the hands that prepared it, the whole meal tastes different.
The vibration, like the energy of the people, is affecting the taste of the food. I
Yes.
think that's kind of how it works.
So where do we get these? Because you're making me think I need to buy these to hire the next person I have to hire. I feel like I'm going to be putting on these glasses.
You can check
It's going to be
how
very weird.
the
Yeah,
energy
I'm going to be
feels.
sitting there with the glasses on, and I'm going to be talking to them, and then I'm going to see.
Yeah, there's a webpage that is called Museum of Tarot from Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
They are the ones that are making this technology available for the public.
Okay.
And they also have some helmets that I have to that you can put in your head to kind of harmonize the frequencies of your brain, and then you can practice remote viewing.
Do they really? Because I was looking at, you know, some of the different helmets, and I'm going to let you guys go here. I'm going to leave you with this last bit, seriously. So two things I'm going to leave you with. First, Cesar absolutely wears this in Centro, he told us. So he will absolutely be walking around
You might be.
in Centro. If you see somebody in Centro with the glasses, just go say hello.
It's me.
That's him, yeah. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about, just really, really briefly, 2 seconds, is when you talk about the energy fields in the head. So they have been doing experiments, because I've actually been doing some homework into this, into schizophrenia and different mental disorders, and actually the frequencies, utilizing those frequencies in your head. So there's one out of, I'm going to go look at this site, because I know there's one out of Europe that is exactly that. It's the frequencies that go into your brain, and that starts to reconnect the pathways that are broken, that are causing the some of the schizophrenic symptoms. So this is definitely a field of research that is, particularly, I really like what you said, people as technology. We are moving into, we're smack dab in, we're in the technological age anyway.
Yeah.
And so just making sure we identify what we're calling technology, that it's more than just apps, and then kind of applying those things. So I know there's so much more, but we're going to let our audience go because that was a lot. We're going to put the links to his site and his following. We have weirdly joined the Church of Cesar, I guess. It's like, I'm not sure how this works, Like,
I don't know. I mean, you have to be your own God. That's the thing. Like,
yes.
And then that's also something that I want to add to kind of let the people know that something that you need to develop while you're thinking on coming to Mexico is be more responsible for the impact of your actions, the consequence of your actions in general.
Yes.
That's something that I think you need to develop while you're in here. You need to be prepared for that, because like you were saying, when you go to a places, if you die, it's your fault. Like if something happened, it's because you were not prepared.
I know.
Here, it's not going to be easy for everybody to say, yeah, we will take care of you always. You need to be more proactive, and I think it is part of the whole new mindset that you need to be more aware of the impact of your actions. The vibration of your voice can be beneficial for somebody, or can trigger something, inside of them.
Yes.
So I think that's something that we need to be more aware in general. We are creating our own reality. So in theory, we are going to become our own gods, like we are the ones that are in charge of everything that happens in our lives. So we need to be more aware of that. That's it.
That was the nice version of, don't come out here as a foreigner playing games and just taking from Oaxaca and not feeling like you're going to give anything back. So I'm just giving you the short version. But that is everything for today. I'm going to put all his links in the description so you can watch, listen, learn, grow. He's on Spotify. As he grows, because you can see he's in a state of continual growth, you'll grow with him. So I highly, highly recommend that you just take a listen, put it on in the background, and be encouraged to be more purposeful even in the small actions that we take, knowing that all of the energy has meaning. So that is all I have for you today. Hopefully you all feel the good energy that we're putting out to you through the screen.
Good vibes.
Thank you so much for joining me and Cesar, and I will see you next time on Siesta with Suki. Ciao.